Welcome into another episode of Good, DyNasty. I love your host, co-host Nate. We got a couple of guests with us, and I have the honor of starting off the draft as we do some introductions. So, what's up, Nate? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. It's all been counted down to this, dude. So I'm so excited after like 5 weeks now that we've been recording this thing. We're finally getting to our real rookie draft here. You can see if we've been lying to everybody for 5 weeks about what we're actually going to do, or if we've been holding true to how we're feeling. So we're going to get this thing going. But we got a couple guests on the line. So Eli, Chason, what's up, guys? How's it going?
I'm doing well. I did have the honor of being number one in this draft, but someone fleeced me. So I'm just excited to start the second round.
You know what?
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you make this pick. Is it gonna be Marvin Harrison Jr. or Marvin Harrison Jr.? Just a CTA.
I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr.
All right, you got it.
Awesome.
Eli, how you doing, man?
Good. Living the dream. Get to watch you guys select everybody in the first round, and then hope that somebody good gets to me in the second, as late as the second.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm glad Jason and Eli were able to join us, not having anything in the first round for either of them, but we were going to hold on to 6 picks here. So everyone, this is Chason, who I've been talking about for a while now, because the reason Arlen has any first round picks is because of Chason. All 3 of them came way of Chason. Just want to call that out.
And this pick that you're on right now is the one that I have been waiting to see what you would do. I've been asking you and texting you every day. To address Eli, as I feel like there are plenty at the end of the second that you got some good sleepers there. I'm excited to see who you end up going with. I got a name on somebody. I have no picks there, but like somebody who I would have taken. But here, the 102 is what I've been really waiting to see. A contender. Does a contender go for Neighbors, who's going to give a more immediate production to your team and help you out this year, or the man crush that you and I both have on Odunze? And more importantly, I think to piss me off, you might just take Odunze.
I don't know if it's to piss you off as much as it has been because I have been in just as much in love with him as you have. But I'm sorry, man. I'm going to do it to you.
That's great.
Mr. Odunze. But hey,
Dang.
consolation prizes, my friend. He's there for you.
Yeah, I love that. I think he's in a good situation. It does make it easier with me having the 106. I was afraid that I was going to pick up Caleb Williams with it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Vlad and McCon. No. No, I think that's a great pick. Neighbors, it's the best consolation prize I've ever gotten in a draft like this. So I'll take it. I'm okay with it. I've been telling Arlen on our side text for days that we're just going to go back and forth. It was 50-50 all the way, and I think Odunze for me long term. I just like the idea of him having a kind of set quarterback for a while, even though it might take a couple years for him to hit with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen out there. But I think in the 2 receiver sets, I think it's actually going to be Odunze out there, not Keenan. So we'll see what happens. Let me go ahead and grab 4, and I think that Eli might have thought you were joking, but so many of my statements have been pro this guy. I would be just eating crow if he did well and I didn't pick him, so I'm going to have to go ahead and grab my guy, traditional homer here, Ladd McConkey at 4. We've talked
That's
about it at
way
length.
earlier.
Yeah, we've talked about it at length, and like you definitely believe in the guy. Caleb Williams is off the board.
Oh my God! I see. That's what I thought you should have gone with there, Nate. Pairing him up with Odunze.
Yeah, that was a temptation, 100%.
Because that's your 1 weak spot on your roster is you have Justin Herbert in Harbaugh, Greg Roman offense.
Yeah, that is 100% where I was on the fence for sure, and I've talked about that a little bit here in the last couple of weeks around Justin Herbert being a piece that is going to be a sore part of my roster that is my ride or die as a consummate Chargers fan. So I'm hoping I just built a nice little stack on my team, but the reality is that's probably not going to happen with Harbaugh where they're leaning with the team for sure.
Yeah, I think either way you go though, you got a stack. You got a Herbert, McConkey, or you could have gone Caleb and gotten that. I think Caleb's a little early for that myself. I don't know if this is going to be my child didn't like your picks and doesn't like me taking the full 2 minutes to the slot. Eli, Chase, Chase and I guess I'm handing off just like Nate did in the beginning. Whoever wants to throw in, but what would you do in this pick?
So with this pick, I probably would go with Keon Coleman, only because the Bills need that true X receiver with Diggs and Bang. And can't fill that void right now. And there's some doubts with him, but I think that would be a great pick, especially with Rush on this upside.
Yeah, I know. That's the one that keeps like pulling me towards it, and I'm like afraid of making that. I'm afraid of making that pick, but I think it could be the right one. Eli, what would you do?
Well, you're very weak at running back. I think you need to go Brooks. And you're out of time.
Dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what
Ryan
I said.
Thomas-
Did you just mess with it? That guy was sitting in your queue.
Coleman was honestly, Coleman was the next one in my queue, and I kept moving them like throughout the weeks leading up. I kept moving it. I was thinking about Brooks. He's on there. It was like Coleman, Worthy, Brooks, and Brian Thomas. And just today, I was like, finally, I think Worthy. I'm afraid of the wide receivers in Kansas City. There's too much unknown right now. Plus, it's like hard for them to actually hit that field. There's a fear there. Coleman, I hated before the landing spot, so I went back like the tiebreaker for me and him at Brian Thomas. So I like the talent and landing spot of Brian Thomas. Coleman, I have investments already into Buffalo, but I love the man. I wish that he was on my team. He could have been, but I had to say no. And then Brooks, I don't know, 0 RB is my only answer to that one. I think Brooks was. I was trying to trade back to allow myself to pick one of these other guys on the list, but no one wanted to trade up. So
Are you done until the fifth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done. Yeah,
Wow.
so far,
See,
as of right now.
the other suggestion I was going to have for you there was Cunningham, or not Cunningham, Keon Williams's handcuff. What's his name? Blake Corrum.
Oh, no, I wouldn't hit him
in
until
the first round.
No, not with 106. I was thinking if you would have held on to one of your second round picks.
maybe in the mid and after I would have thought about it. But I probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger until, based on who else I like that's available in the mid and end of the second, I probably wouldn't have until like middle of the third, which it wouldn't have lasted to. So I don't think I was going to get him.
Sailor
Bowers.
is auto drafting Brock Bowers.
That just happened.
Classic. Last year, the auto draft of our league was a couple tight ends in a row,
And didn't it start with Mayers too? Wasn't it the other Raider?
but none of them were
Yeah.
Laporta.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's so
No,
hilarious.
I snagged Laporta. I knew Laporta was going to be good. I'm just kind of annoyed that I traded him away because I don't like any of these tight ends in this class. Not even Bowers because of his landing spot.
Yeah, that broke everyone's heart.
Yeah, it was just sad for fantasy as a whole. Jason, where's your first pick?
Hey,
2-1, right?
2-1.
2-1.
Who are you? So let's see. Nate's got 111, so I guess you can't say too much if you're hoping drafts to you. But maybe right at his spot when he picks, you can tell us what you're hoping for.
Yeah, because I mean, I definitely have some people that I'm looking at. I know what I feel I need on my team, and I just hope that it plays out that way. So, Nate, please do not mess me over right now, and I will greatly appreciate you. I will no longer trade any draft picks to Arlen.
Keon Coleman goes to Gordo
Good
Bombay.
pick.
That
Yeah.
was a
Good pick
solid
there.
pick. Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I think he's gonna own the red zone out there. Just with his size, it's gonna be the 1-2 option with Kincaid out there.
What makes me sad is he does not trade, so I will not have Coleman on my team in the future.
You can bet on Curtis Samuel having some surprising upside though in the near term.
That's what Arlen
I
keeps
love it.
saying too.
Yeah,
I was all about Samuel when I had him on my roster this time last year.
Person has definitely saved me in plenty of leagues in the past, but the question is, how long is that going to last? How long will that last?
He also
think
has a
that's
lot
fair.
of injury risk too.
but he's also how old does everyone think he is? I always look it back up because it always
He was
surprises me.
26 last year, so I think he's 27 now.
That is the correct math. And yeah, that's right. He's, in August, he'll be 28. So in the beginning of the season, he'll be 28 years old. So I mean, he's got probably a couple years left. And I just think he's better than what he's been allowed to show.
Hey, sometimes 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2. Okay.
That's fair.
I mean, and
I'm
he's been
really
playing
upset
with a
though.
crap quarterback.
Any
too.
of the guys that I was hoping for make it to Chason at 2-1 because that means I could have just kept my 2-1 and 3-1. But I knew that was a possibility.
I knew Tim was going to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a feeling too. And actually, we talked about it on one of the episodes, named that you wouldn't get Jaden Daniels at 111 because
Yeah.
Tim
Well,
is the one
when
that's going to take him.
Caleb Williams went way earlier than I thought he would.
I bet you Jeddah goes with Xavier here.
That would be the best option, but I'm on bated breath. It's only 3 more spots right though there. The anticipation's killing me right now.
Yeah, these are. Well, I think our picks went long because we talked so much about them. But
I mean, this is wide receiver is an area, looking at her roster, that she is certainly lacking solid depth at. Unless JSN can prove to be something. I mean, she got CeeDee Lamb because of Ari. All the way, one of the top 3 wide receivers this year.
Mhm.
But then beyond him, it's McLaurin.
There it goes.
she went.
Oh,
Brooks.
wow. So she's going with I'm just going to stack my RB core because she's already pretty set at RB.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's got.
I'm not sure about-
Yeah. Well, she's not. I wouldn't say she's set. She got Najee Harris. I don't feel like that there's a lot of question marks there. And then Pacheco and White. So she's got a couple like tier 2, 3 running backs. Adding Brooks kind of, I think, adds a top 15-ish running back.
All
But
right.
the wide
Well,
receiver was a lot weaker.
I don't think Jason has anything to worry about from me. I'm not grabbing any of these wide receivers. I'm pretty stacked there as it is. I'm not interested in Trey Benson. Blake Corrum, I don't think is going to give us much. I'm not super excited about Xavier Legette or Adonai Mitchell. I kind of want to grab Pearsall just because I know how much Arlen loves him.
I do love him.
He's got a massive man crush for Ricky Pearsall. But I'm gonna reach because I don't have a pick for a while, and
I know where you're going to, I guess.
Go for it.
You're going to go with Jalen Wright to undercut Ari with Devin Achan?
No. Gross.
That's so gross. I'm just gonna stack up my team here and grab a quarterback.
Whoa, not
Which
me.
one? Which
Oh
one?
no. Minnesota. Yeah, McCarthy.
There you go.
What?
You got
That
your stack.
surprises
Yeah, I like
me.
it. I like it.
All
You got
right.
your stack there, though, with Addison. I like that. That's a good pick.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. All right. So now I am in a situation. Because both of my options are one of my options is going to come in for sure. So I wasn't thinking Running was going to be out here this long.
Yeah.
That's huge. If he
If Edwin doesn't take him, I think that's a very great pick for you.
what else do you think of that, Jason?
Yes. So the other options, because I do have a necessity at running back. I have the 2 questionable starters from Dallas. I wasn't okay. So it looks like you guys are going to see my pick. This is like a no-brainer at this point. I am going to go with Trey Benson.
I think it's a great pick.
Yeah.
So awesome. I'm not with that. Thank you, Arlen, for kind of messing me over, but it's something.
You know what threw the wrench in the gear here is I didn't think 3 quarterbacks would go in the first round, so when I kept doing every version of a mock draft I thought was realistic, I wouldn't get Benson, and that was the last player on that list that I would want. Pearsall was like, okay, maybe Pearsall, but Benson I felt a lot better about. I didn't think he was going to get there, so that did make me upset if it helps you feel better. Brian Thomas better be great. Like,
I've been talking to Brian Thomas for a while in the offseason too. I think he's going to be just fine out there.
Benson's
He's
got
everything that
situation right now.
I think my analysis of him early on was like he's everything that Quentin Johnston was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's actually a really good comp. Matt Harmon from Reception Perception, he was on like a Yahoo podcast or something. I heard him talking about the comparison of like the the low end being who is the Steelers wide receiver? Bryant.
Martavius.
Martavius Bryant. Yeah, he was speaking to how Quentin Johnson, he didn't believe in his talent, but that was the closest like upside comparison is like that boom bust kind of player, and then that his low end for Ryan Townsend, same kind of player, but even closer to what Martavius Bryant was, as long as he can, if they can use him right away as an X receiver, and then have him kind of add to different routes that he's capable of, then he can be like efficient right away, like contribute right away, but then possibly grow into a true number one. I'm hoping they need it. I don't think Kirk is. I think it's like one of the better wide receiver too. But I don't view him as a wide receiver one. Pure soul.
Yeah, second.
He got Coleman before.
What's left on the board here? If I was in this position, I might mess around and take a risk, but Leggett is one of the weirdest players and could totally flop, but could be huge. How do you guys feel about Leggett?
So I'm sorry if I didn't cut you off there. Real quick though, his first 4 years were like, who is this guy? And then he breaks out in his 5th year.
Yeah.
And had amazing talent. Now, him with the quarterback that I have, Bryce Young, some doubts, but he could be that person that has a breakout for Bryce Young as well. So I'm not opposed to it. He is a name that I was looking at. Since I have a quick back-to-back coming up. But yeah, he's not a bad choice right here.
I'm surprised that he went with Adonai Mitchell there, especially considering that his team is very weak at quarterback. I mean, he's definitely in rebuild mode, and with Daniel Jones and Matthew Stafford are his starting quarterbacks right now. And
I think Matthew Stafford can give him another year, though.
Oh, for sure. But with Drake May still on the board and arguably Penix and Nix as well, I think that's something that he ought to have been thinking about in that position rather than a wide receiver who's not necessarily going to fit with. That's a great pick, Jason.
Penix? He's going to be sitting for a couple of years, possibly.
But that's what he has. He's in rebuild mode. That's what my point is he's not going to win this year. He's not looking for somebody who's going to win him season this year.
Right.
He's looking for somebody who's he can stash on his bench and develop over the next couple of years. And so he will be a contender 3 years down the road, 2 years down.
I agree with that, but I'm a little over all the Daniel Jones hate that's out there right now.
Yeah.
He got Daniel Jones on his team. He's fine. He's past the injury. He's going to...
Oh, man. I was hoping he was gonna last to me, Chason.
Jason, you got a couple picks in a row that made Eli upset. You want to talk about those?
So with Blake, it was a no-brainer. He's going to the Rams. Like, there's gonna be some split time with him and I never got his make a difference at this point. I was gonna talk to you about him because he was so close to coming to me and someone would have bent a little bit. But he's gonna get some touches. That's a very run-friendly team once the running backs are on the same page. So a high RB3 right now to start his career, and we'll see if Cameron Williams can even remain healthy. The other one that I picked, he's going to the Sean Payton offense. So if Bo Nix is going to be that right quarterback, then that rookie combo, that's going to pay off. That is going to pay off. Plus, he averages 2.63 yards per route, third in the class for this draft, only behind Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Neighbors. So very, very comfortable with these two picks.
Yeah, I think they were both good. I love Troy Franklin's. I love his game and before he was drafted. I think it's kind of scary drafting someone from Denver there, but I think there's still a huge upside because he can become the one there, especially if this next person that was picked that is the real deal, and Bo Nix over to Old Betty One Sock, and we've got Leggett coming off directly after that on auto draft. He's got the questionable players on auto draft, clearing it up for us. But I think that's a good, appropriate place to take the risk on him, especially like it's still part of that COVID anomaly where some of the players are just breaking out a little bit later. But Killer, Echo, Eli, you are on the clock. What are you thinking here?
So the 3 players that I was planning on picking here are all still there. There's 2 additional ones that I weren't expecting to be there that are on the board, but I think I'm going to still go with team need. I'm a contender this year, and with all the player comps that I've been looking in the film I've been watching on my specialty position, I'm going to shock some people with that, but
I think
that the one player comp in this draft to my guy from last year, Sam Laporta, and this is one of the reasons why I was throwing Laporta on the trade block, is because I saw this guy coming out of college. I saw a lot of his film. Living in Missouri now, I'm not too far away from where he went to school, and he went to Kansas State, for those of you who don't know. And the comparisons to Sam Laporta are very strong. In fact, I think he could be a better version of Sam Laporta based on his measurables, and he's a little bit more athletic.
I was like, wow.
Well, the question is Sam Laporta, the reason he was so good last year is because of fit. And so this is a bigger question mark than when I took Laporta last year, because when I took Laporta last year, I knew he was going to be great because of the Dan Campbell offense, and Dan Campbell, being a former tight end himself, loves developing the tight end, and because he was such a strong advocate for Laporta right away, I wasn't really shocked by how he was a featured player in that offense. With Washington, I have a lot of question marks. I don't know what this new regime is going to be thinking, especially with a rookie quarterback. But my hope is that over the next few years, Sinat and Daniels will kind of grow together, and he'll become a kind of a safety blanket for Jaden Daniels.
I love it. I like Sinat a lot. I don't agree with the aggressive take that you have, but
he's going to be a better version. She went Drake May.
Wow. I mean, she's clearly going best available, because I'm looking at the draft board when she was picking both picks.
2 spots she shouldn't be that worried about. She's got.
Oh, this is gonna be another auto draft, by the way. Oh no, he's back on. He's actually gonna pick. He's actually gonna make a pick this time.
What's his first pick?
Maybe.
Someone reach out to him and ask him how he feels about Bowers and Leggett.
Nick offered me the 202 and I missed it, and I could have gotten Pure Soul with it.
What did he try? What was the offer?
I'm still negotiating. I'm not going to talk yet. Okay, no, I'll talk. He wanted Jameson Williams for the 202.
That's doable.
It's doable. I think it's
especially
fine.
since he has Goff. That's something that I think would be beneficial to both of you. Can I say why I'm a little down on Burton? Actually,
yeah, please.
It was when I was doing some review over the past couple of weeks and looking at film and reading up about these guys. I thought the landing spot for Burton was great. Everyone in the fantasy podcast realm has been talking him up like he's going to take that Tyler Boyd role right away, and be productive, and maybe even if Higgins goes, come in and slide in behind Chase as the number 2 on the team. His player comp is not ideal. It's, for those of you who don't know, Bernard Berrian. So his film is not necessarily reflective of a guy who might have. I mean, he certainly has a strong amount of upside, but he clearly also, if you look at the Cincinnati drafting of receivers outside of Chase and Higgins, it hasn't been that great. Yoshivas and last year Chuck Jones, they have not developed very well at receiver. Cincinnati's been better at kind of finding guys early in the draft and then sticking with them. So I don't necessarily think that it's a home run out of the gate for a guy like Burton to come in and take over. I think, Ari, I think you have Yoshi on your team. I think that he might actually start the season as the wide receiver 3 in Cincinnati.
Okay.
What's the next one? We got a few. Yeah.
Hey, pause it.
Well, Sailor says he just traded that pick to Kyle.
Which pick? So he did. The trade was 2024 third, which is a 307, and the 211, which was that pick, for Diggs. Us. Yeah, I think that's fair.
He took Marshawn Lloyd.
Okay. All right. So that just the Dragster. There we go. Perfect. So now that just was everything for me.
You're like, undo the trade, undo everything.
So it actually worked out in my favor because, hey, if you have someone that's going to a team that just gave away 18% of their target share, that's a no-brainer for me. I'm gonna have to go with Rowan Wilson with this pick.
I like that pick.
I like it.
That was the pick
yeah.
that we took off, huh?
Yeah, it was. So Jason's like, actually, I'm stoked that happened.
Yes, I am excited. I was staring at him like, wow, I really wanted him, and now I got him. Wow, thanks. But if I wasn't gonna take him, I was gonna go ahead and take White, the running back from Miami.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think as you enter the third round, which is the round that most leagues stop at, and don't have fourth and fifth rounds, I think as you enter this one, this is absolutely the space where you can kind of go after who you want. And I think White is like a good, it's a good throw. And that if Achan stays in a limited role and he's just like a more boom player, and White steps into like a more featured, he can still, I think they both eat. There's enough room there. But he's fast
So my
like him,
thing
and they
is-
like his speed too, and he's a little bit bigger and might be able to hold up a little lot.
Well, yeah, my thing with Jalen Wright is I don't think he's a replacement for HN. I think he's
I agree.
the heir apparent to Raheem Mostert. When Raheem Mostert's 32 years old, so and he's had several injuries throughout his career. I think that he's that Wright I see is more of a long-term addition to Devin Station, and like the two of them will be splitting 1A and 1B type role in Miami in the next couple years. I don't think that he's necessarily somebody who's going to take over for HN, but HN has his injury history too, so Wright might see more productivity this year if HN or Mostert gets hurt, obviously. But I think that'll be telling actually of what their plans are. The fact that they traded a third round pick next year to go up and get him in the fourth round this year, shows me that they really like him. And so I think they have some plans for him, big plans for him in the future.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And it makes me a little nervous because he could chip in a little bit this year to that HM, but I think that he's definitely there to Moser.
So as we're going into these later rounds, Nate, you have a pick coming up soon. Who are you thinking about?
Man, so that's a great question. I'm just looking at the board really quick, just making. Well, I don't want to talk too much because I have a pick coming up, but both you and Eli do too. So feel like I'm getting trapped. But I will say I'm just looking at some roster needs and seeing if there's any reasonable picks around where I'm coming, because I have got one here at 311, and then I'm at the tail end of 4 and 5. So definitely taking some dart throws at that point, but just looking at roster construction and trying to figure out what the best route is for me.
I appreciate that you did not fall for my trick and just say who you're going to pick.
I almost did. I was like, oh, you would only ask me that if... Nope, you've got to pick.
You have some Penix action here. Wow. Okay.
I mean, Goro needed a quarterback. That's like I was saying. I guess if he's not competing for the next 2 to 3 years, that's perfect timing, maybe to hit like a Jordan Love type. He's going to sit for the next 2 years, and then bam, he's the new hot pick that everyone wants. Kyle takes Jalen Wright. I'm a little disappointed by that. I thought he might get back around me. Kyle certainly needs help at running back, though. Yeah, I'm just looking at Kyle's roster. He definitely needs help at running back. Actually, now I'm confused as to why he took Caleb Williams in the first round. Because, I think he should have gone with Brooks there. Because he's got Geno Smith and Joe Burrow at quarterback, and this isn't a super flex league. So he's not going to be starting both of them. And so, reaching up for Caleb Williams in the first round when Brooks was there, and it's certainly a position of need for Kyle's team. His starting running back right now is Zach Charbonnet. He's the only healthy running back, and he has Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb might end up starting off on the PUP list, and he's also an aging running back. And then the other backs behind him are Kenny McIntosh in Seattle, Jerick McKinnon, who's still a free agent, Antonio Gibson, who's in New England, and Kenny Gainwell, who's playing behind Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia. And Charbonnet is his 1-2 is Charbonnet and Chubb, but like, who's he going to start at running back alongside Charbonnet, right? I mean, if I were Kyle and intending on competing this year with this pick, I would certainly go with Audric Estime, because he's out of the backs remaining on the board, he's the one who has the most clear path to playing time this season. I'm hoping my guy is still going to be there after Kyle makes this pick, so I'm trying not to say too much. Just because I don't know who that other additional listener is in the...
Oh, I forgot about that. Someone just sneaking on us.
Yes.
Okay. I was looking at that pick, by the way, but now it opened up the window for me, looking at not my team construction, but this actual team construction. They have a 33-year-old running back. I don't see that lasting for much longer, even though this guy's not stellar. It is a reach, but I gotta go with Davis.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
What about Cook, though? You said they got a 33-year-old running back, but they also got James Cook, who's, 26, 25?
Yeah. But if James Cook goes down, then they have no one left. Does Cook... Is he going to keep cooking? I'm not sure. So, like I said, this was a reach. So I am going with that handcuff. That handcuff that I think will be a long-term handcuff.
So the player comp I have for Ray Davis is Keyshawn Vaughn. So, I mean, I guess the book isn't closed on Keyshawn yet, but I mean, I like what he did in Kentucky. And he certainly has some pass catching abilities, maybe serving as like a third down back his rookie year. That might make him very valuable, and you could probably fleece Ari with him later on down the road.
That is fair. That is definitely fair.
Man, Jedi took the guy who I was looking at next.
Yeah, so Jedi takes... I thought, possibly Gordo Bombay would take it with a name that almost matches his wife's name. I thought Jay McMillan, but Jay McMillan is, I think, a good. I think later in the third, I think it's a good pick out here. And you were hoping that it would get you in a couple picks later in the fourth.
Yeah, I was hoping that people would be sleeping on it because, when you made that trade with Palmer, my thinking automatically was like, wait, they just drafted a guy who's going to compete with Palmer for that third wide receiver spot in Tampa Bay. And having the entire Tampa Bay pass catching squad on my team, I'm very attuned to what they're doing in their offensive team. And it seems like they really like McMillan. And McMillan has some really favorable player comps, too. Where is it? Tyler Boyd. And that's like the perfect third wide receiver in that offense. Behind Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Having a Tyler Boyd-like player in McMillan really... I mean, I think he will see the field pretty early and pretty often. Good pick, mate.
Yeah, I was on the fence, but with Javonte Williams, like on the last year of his rookie deal, I think this will be a couple years out. But hopefully we get something. And I need some running back support here.
I mean, I think if you didn't take him there, I think Tim would have probably taken him because he has Javonte with this pick that's on the clock right now too. So I think I think you might have just stolen that pick from Tim and actually given the delay on Tim's pick.
You think of?
I think you might have.
Nick,
Tim's usually quick on the draw.
I was quiet because I was trying to negotiate with Nick, and I was trying to get Burton as well, and he said no. I was like, all right, I'll just do the Jameson Williams for Kearsall. Stick it up. And I told my son, he was like, nah, I want J-Mo and Tank Dell for Kearsall and next year's third. I'm like, what? I was like, that's a completely different situation. I was like, the first one you offered, I'm willing to do. But I think he's out now. Oh, well.
Yeah, we were, so I was talking with Nick heading up to the 3-2. And I was going to take Roman Wilson with that, and Chason not taking him. And I'm glad Chason took him because so what Nick offered me originally was the 3-2 for Chris Godwin straight up. And I was like, that's too much. And so I countered with the 3-2 and 4-2, this pick right here, for Godwin, which I think is fair. I haven't plugged it into a calculator or anything, but and then I texted him back that I countered, and then I wrote very quickly because Chason took Roman Wilson. I was like, never mind, and I withdrew the trade.
Well, now you know why, Nick, if you're one of the ones listening. I counted Nick, though, you don't take this first offer, they get worse. Like, usually a pretty fair trader. And then if you don't, I don't know if he's like thinking about it more and like, no, maybe I could get, or if he's like, well, fuck you. Or, dang it, I did it finally, Nate. I'm bleached.
Language.
But
there, I was looking at him later. If Sinnott didn't make it to me in the second, I knew I was going to take Stover, or if I decided to skip on Sinnott, if somebody like Troy Franklin were still there or Pearsall were still there by the time I was picking at the second, I knew I was going to skip on Sinnott and probably not get him the next time around. And so I was looking at Case Stover as my backup. He's got Dawson Knox as his player comp, and if you remember Dawson Knox before they drafted Kincaid, he was a fairly solid top 12 tight end in that Buffalo offense. And he still has the potential to do some good stuff. But Case Stover, the fact that he played with C.J. Stroud at Ohio State and gets to play with him again, I don't think he's going to be very productive this year, but tight ends are rarely ever productive in their first season anyway. I think that's a great long-term tight end pickup.
Chason, by the way, going back to your last pick, I really think you made a good decision there with Brendan Rice.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I was just picking the best one at that time. I didn't even remember that I had a 4-1 pick. This is the pick I'm actually really excited for because I get the opportunity to do a little bit of a homer, and I'm going to go with a guy that's probably not.
No, I know who you're going to say. That's who I was hoping was going to last to me.
I'm actually. I'm an Eagles fan at the end of the day. And I know how the Eagles are very big on very big receivers. And this guy has potential transitioning over to tight end sooner rather than later. So I'm going to go with Johnny Wilson.
That's a great pick. It's a reach, but it's a great pick.
Yeah, he was on my hoping to get it in the fifth.
Dude, 6'7".
6'7".
Wow.
That's touchdowns. I mean, they're going to start passing the ball without Kelsey there. That's touchdown. He's going to get 6 touchdowns his rookie year.
I would hope so. I would definitely hope so. So I'm excited about this pick. He's gaining more weight right before the season starts. He's at 231 now. Started off at 228. So it's going to be a big guy, hard to take down. Touchdown, end zone machine. So I'm excited. Fly Eagles fly.
I put him on my list today. And I was like, maybe that's something that could get to me at 5'8". Great pick. Yeah, like I said, like you all said, it's a reach, but at this point you reach as far as you want to get the one that you believe in because there's so many question marks anyways.
Yeah, Tim took a good guy there too. That was going to be my 1-2 punch here. My 1-2 punch here in the 4th round was going to be Vidal actually first, and then I was going to surprise everybody with the second back-to-back pick and reach up and grab Wilson.
I mean, Vidal I think has a real shot, and I said this before to Arlen, but I think Vidal has a real shot by midseason to be the best running back out of the Chargers' backfield in a running offense.
I think that can happen before midseason. I think that can happen during training camp.
During training camp, yeah. JK is going to flash for a contract. Just kidding. Not going to happen. JK.
Both him and Edwards are only in LA to basically serve as kind of mentors for the running backs that they will select to fit into Greg Roman's system. That's the only reason they're there is when they, I didn't think that was the case when they signed Edwards, but when they went out and signed JK as well, that became clear to me that the only reason they're bringing these guys in is because they know the Greg Roman offense, and they want them there to teach the younger players, the younger backs, how to fit in. to that offense and basically serve as these mentors. And so they're basically one-year rentals, and they're maybe going to give JK a chance to prove himself, but he's going to get hurt again anyway.
All right. Well,
I don't know how I feel about
Interesting.
that one.
I think
Is
this is
there
once
a
people start picking people they don't know.
did I see a retirement post?
Yeah, so
I mean, that music video was basically a retirement post, right?
yeah. That I mean, I was looking at him in terms of if the Walrus does go ahead and retire, that could fill a hole. That could definitely fill a hole.
I was thinking about Bucky Irving earlier, because Rashad's White usage is gonna regress. He's just used so much last year, but they're just such similar backs, I think.
Now I got some questions here. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Definitely don't.
Uncertainty in the 4th and 5th round of a rookie draft. I'm so surprised. We don't know what we're gonna do in the 4th and 5th round.
I had to reach for my guy there. There were other better players on the board, but I knew I needed to take him, having Derrick Henry. I just am not, the way that this has been going with a couple people going way earlier than I thought, I needed to reach up and grab Ali.
I don't think I know much. I don't know much about Ali at all.
Oh, he's going to be Derrick Henry's backup to start the season. And honestly, he has some good
I had
player
my
comps.
list for 5'8", but that's the only thing I knew.
That I'm glad I reached,
To
because I'm
prove our
picking at
earlier
5'9".
Nice.
So, like, if
Prove our
I wouldn't
earlier
have taken
point
him
of
there, I would have been
uncertainty.
going 5'9". Jedi's going to end up auto-drafting here. She's not on.
So a random
What
question.
time
about,
is it in England?
Question I had about our league is how does special teams work?
Not the way it should.
Don't get them started.
Oh yeah, this whole. Yep.
Give them the yardage
my
if
name-
you're going to take the fumble away from them.
They get the
All right.
they get the full recovery.
Only
wow.
if
They
they
also
get
get
the
the
recovery.
touchdown. And they get the touchdown.
How often does the
The yardage-
touchdown happen?
How often does a fumble happen?
A lot more than touchdowns.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
That is very true. Well, my question is for now because that was the pick I was going to go with. Will Shipley?
Yeah.
See, my thing with Shipley is with Kenny Gainwell there, the Eagles love Kenny Gainwell. I don't know if Shipley gets enough playing time, even though Barkley's certainly an injury risk. My thinking with him I'm not a Clemson. His player comp is Derek Gray, Barkley's backup in New York for the last 3 seasons.
Nice pick, Nate.
I
That was
just-
on my list too. Dang it.
That's an overrated pick.
Sorry to cut you off.
I'm sorry. I am not a big fan of Eric All. So there's all this hype about the Iowa tight ends and everything, Sam Laporta and Dawson and George Kittle and all these guys. But he is not a true Iowa tight end. He's actually a Michigan tight end who then utilized the transfer portal and ended up playing in Iowa.
This is now where you state your bias
And
because that you're an Ohio State alum. You mentioned Michigan with disgust. I think though, to my counter to that, Eli, would be that it's not overrated in the back of the 4th. This is the last pick in the 4th. I think at that point, I think it's worth. I think
So
it's
for
worth
me,
trying.
I'm just picking based on, for me, the landing spot helped there. I think he can do things out in Cincinnati. I will say, Chason, that my other option was Bell. I was like on the fence between the two of them. So thank you for solidifying my insanity.
You're definitely welcome there. It's funny because I was looking at all like, 5th round? Okay, I'll go with that. But yeah, you made it a lot easier for me there.
Thank God. I was just looking at who the auto draft is. Can you get Sailor on and make sure he doesn't auto draft? All right.
No, he's a grown man. You
I
can
gotta
text
text
him if
him
you
real
want.
quick. I'm texting him real quick.
I'm not trying to whoa.
Big Crab Rattler.
Weird.
Interesting.
The second one after Rattler is the one that's surprising to me.
Yeah, that's where we went. I think that was the reaction.
Okay, so I had Reese on my after the draft. I might throw him onto the bench and see what the camp news is like. But that was that's somebody. So he is a rugby player. I tried to pick him up earlier because I didn't know that he would be counted as a rookie.
Same.
I tried to pick him up
Same.
like
I
months
did
ago.
the same
Yeah,
exact thing. Yeah.
And
As
I was
soon
like,
as he
oh
came
man, he's
over,
a
I did
rookie.
this.
All right, I'll put him on my list to remember. And so I thought that was like really early. Even in the fifth, I thought that was like I wasn't even
thought I
sure if I
would-
was going to pick him up after, but
I legitimately thought he was going to be Mr. Irrelevant.
My thing with him,
Oh,
and this is
yeah.
the benefit of being where I am geographically, is I met a couple guys who are from Britain, and we were talking, and I mentioned the fact that I went to high school with the Kelsey brothers, and they started talking about Reese Zemet and how he is going to suck at the NFL, and they knew him as a rugby player and basically accused him of coming to the NFL because he couldn't hack it in rugby and how he's not going to be able to take a hit and he's not going to be able to run with pads on. And so all the stuff that's been training camp so far about him looking good at catching passes from Patrick Mahomes, that's being done without pads. I'm curious to see when the pads come on
It's
how
fair.
he actually looks. And looking at the running back depth chart in Kansas City to begin with, I don't know if he doesn't even make it. If he might be lucky to make the practice squad.
Gosh, God damn it. I know.
Oh,
I was going to grab him myself. He was the last person that he's the last person I actually cared about anyways on my like list of people that might get to me. Oh my God.
I wrote to Sailor, but I don't know if he's gonna get it. Tim already took the guy I wanted anyway. Oh, I might actually be able to get my other guy here, though. I'm pumped about this. See what Ari
Who's
does.
that?
I'm keeping my mouth shut until you pick.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to get him. Yeah, right. I will take him.
This pick that I'm going to make is actually, I don't think that you would pick him. I don't think that he's on anyone's radar. So, I might actually not even pick him. I might just wait and try and pick him up off waivers. But then I have to figure out who I'm going to drop. I texted Sailor, but apparently didn't get it. Yeah, it's still sitting on delivered, not read. Frank Gore to Sailor. Oh, no. Oh, man.
Cool. That's not a bad idea.
No,
I'm
I
gonna
like
do
that. I was hoping that would be.
it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I like that.
All right, I gotta
Eli,
get my
what do you-
waiver in
what
for
are you
my guy.
thinking?
What about you taking Frank Gore? I mean, I think that that's the better pick to back up Cook. I think in the fifth round,
yeah.
especially, like if he flops, then he flops. Then I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Even if he
Okay.
doesn't make the team, I think he's gonna catch on somewhere with that lineage and his production in college. I think that he'll get picked up somewhere and have a meaningful backup role in the NFL. At worst. All right, my guy is going to be there. I got to get ready for this waiver claim.
I'm like super annoyed right now just because of how the last 4 picks went.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny.
What do you have it?
I actually was going to grab Travis there. I thought that he'd fall. I didn't think anyone was looking at him, honestly. But good draft, gentlemen.
Yeah, it was an amazing draft. Like, you guys are definitely a pleasure to talk to and think these through. Your insights are definitely valuable.
We're going to have some fun with
Yeah, I
this.
appreciate y'all. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all stepping on.
All right, y'all. Well, that was our real life Dynasty rookie draft here, and we just thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit us in the chat. Let us know what you thought was real dumb about how we drafted today, and then go ahead and follow us anyway. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, y'all. See you next time.